Hi, everyone. We are thankful to have you here this Friday. We are thankful it is Friday, also the 15th day of November, and thankful for a pretty nice weekend forecast that lies ahead. That will be the last thing I go out on after a number of headlines tonight, which will include the details I can give you in just a few seconds in regards to a vehicle versus school bus accident in West Liberty. Accident and law enforcement still on the scene. There was a fatality confirmed in the automobile to us by EMS on the scene, who were actually in that area but not involved with the response. We also have an incident following on the heels of the one that took place in Johnson County earlier this week, one at an elementary school here in Magoffin County, involving a second grader that has now been taken from class. We'll explain to you why from our school superintendent in just a few moments. If you haven't been on Restaurant Road today, well, it's a different game now after the barrels and cones are gone, and it has opened things up dramatically. I'll take you there in just a few moments. I have indictments on human trafficking and other charges and a host of news and information to work into what's left of the half hour. We'll begin tonight with an incident in Magoffin County. Of course, it was just earlier this week on Wednesday when Superintendent Tom Cochran of the Johnson County School District said that they had received a threat, a general threat that was made on behalf of a student, saying that no students were in any danger or in harm's way at any time, but that local police had investigated a comment or threat made on social media by a student whose grade, name, and age, of course, not listed, but the student being a juvenile. Apparently, it was a picture taken of a firearm or a gun cabinet. There was also a threat that was perceived to be generalized, tagged along with it. Investigators and authorities went to the student's place of residence, spoke with the student's parents, collected means of communications, including electronics, and investigated. That student has been charged, and as I told you last night, was taken to the juvenile detention center, I believe, in Boyd County, if I'm not mistaken. Nevertheless, he was charged and taken to the detention center and will not be returning to school anytime soon. That is also the case for a different reason, but similar circumstances here in Magoffin County earlier today. This involving a much younger student, we do believe at this time. This case dictated by the times that we live in, and of course, based on previous, just yesterday in California, with, of course, that shooting at a high school there that claimed 2 students' lives. Those current events. Magoffin County school officials today say that they have to treat just as accordingly remarks made by a second grade student at North Magoffin Elementary. School personnel with North Magoffin sent out a notice earlier today via social media and otherwise saying that they have become aware of an inappropriate comment made by a North Magoffin Elementary student. They contacted law enforcement and appropriate authorities immediately. They are investigating, and the student in question was not to be allowed back on school property until the matter was thoroughly investigated. Similar remarks with some more information as were uttered via a telephone interview with Superintendent of Schools Scott Helton just a few moments ago.
About 2 o'clock today, I was notified of a situation at North Magoffin where a second grade student had made a comment. At that time, we sent the school resource officer to the school along with our Safe Schools coordinator and our special ed director. We went down to investigate along with the principal and the staff to see what was actually taking place. And I just got a debriefing from the SRO officer just a few minutes ago. Basically, what we had was a second grader made a comment, inappropriate comment about bringing something to the school. He was removed from the classroom. Parents have been contacted. He's basically going to be following. We have to follow protocol, and before he can return to the school, there's the legal procedures have to be followed and taken place. So right now, he's not going to be back in our school setting anytime soon. So this is the protocol that we follow with any of these types of situations that go on. Children nowadays doesn't understand that they probably don't mean what they say, but anything that they say like that, we have to take serious because of the environment that we live in. And right now, it may be a little, some may consider it a little overkill, but it's just what the law requires. And we have contacted the court-designated officers to deal with this, and the correct procedures are being followed. But as of now,
years ago, of course, we would have had this conversation years ago, and in some ways, but certainly not concerning a second grader. And that is kind of hard to understand, but at the same time, children and parents alike, I think, have an understanding and need to have an understanding that there is no age discrepancy when it comes to situations like this nowadays.
The law requires, if we don't notify and deal with it, then we're held accountable. It doesn't matter what age group they are in. And like you said, years ago, a comment like what he made today, we may have kind of just brushed it off and had a talk with him and went on. But nowadays, you can't do that. And some people's eyes, it may be overkill, but that's what the law requires. We have to take care of it in these manners. If we don't, then we're held accountable. And, I don't like putting it out on the one call, but we have to notify our parents. And it didn't go out to the entire district because it happened at this particular school. So the parents of that school that have children in that school will receive a one call concerning this event. And I think they put it on their social media outlet as well. The one thing is we want to make sure our parents are informed. We don't want them to hear about it secondhand. It's better if it comes from the school. And I don't try to create panic or anything of that nature. That's not what our intentions are. We hope it's not. But we want them to be informed. I don't want them to hear it secondhand and not get the correct information. But we take anything like this serious because the law requires us to take it serious.
Now, moving on, as for that accident in West Liberty, these are the only details that I can confirm, that there was a school bus involved as well as a passenger vehicle involved as well. We are told that this collision happened at or near the intersection of 172 and 460. That will be just as you are coming into West Liberty, near where the new extension office was built on your left if you're coming into West Liberty. From what we have understanding of as of right now, no confirmation from law enforcement, but it appeared to have been a T-bone accident in which the vehicle may have been turning one direction or the other, possibly into the path of that school bus. That's still yet to be confirmed. But there apparently were at least two people, possibly more, inside that passenger vehicle. The driver, we are told unofficially, was airlifted to a trauma center for serious injuries, while a female passenger was pronounced dead at the scene. There may have been one or two minor injuries on the school bus, nothing life-threatening for the students that were on board. We do believe there may have been some on board, given the time frame, and the bus driver. Limited information, I understand, but that's all we could find as of airtime. Of course, everyone was still on the scene and working that investigation just a few moments ago, but that actually coming from an EMS personnel from McGoffin County who was coming through that scene just around the time that it happened or shortly thereafter. I'll have more for you on Monday's program. I'll have more headlines for tonight after these messages. Let these folks know you're watching every chance you get. From brakes, exhaust, suspension, fluid changes, to expert collision and auto body, to turning your 4x4 or diesel from mild to wild, get real auto maintenance, paint, and repair at Black Smoke Performance in Dixie of Sagersville. 349-8785. You're going to absolutely fall in love with all the new arrivals at the seasonal shop, from all the autumn colors and styles in ladies' designs, shoes and accessories, Charlie Page, Mud Pie, you know the name brands, to jewelry, Simply Southern, Natural Life, caps, cups, and more, to rooms of home decor. And all you'll need to decorate for the fall and Halloween seasons, plus everything from coffees to candles, but hurry, because everything Christmas is already arriving daily and will be out soon, and fall will be gone before you know it. At Frazier's Prater Drugs Seasonal Shop in downtown Sagersville. Getting the best deal on the best tires with the best service has never been easier. Just log on to ConleyTire.net, check out the latest rebates, sales, and promotions, pick out the tires you want, and email, call, or come by. for huge savings from the family who's been proudly serving the area for over 32 years. Conley Tire in Staffordsville, 297-2424. We have finally done it. After years and years of extensive testing, we not only invented the chicken sandwich, we have perfected the chicken sandwich. Come and try it and love it with a big, famous dipped breast strip, pickles and mayonnaise, or however you like it fixed. And if you like, make it a double. Just make your way to Lee's to get it and grab a cookie while you're there. At your Sayersville Lee's famous recipe, where even our ice is famous. Several indictments returned yesterday by the sitting Johnson County grand jury, the first for human trafficking in a follow-up from an earlier aired report that we covered some weeks ago. 40-year-old Deborah Hamilton of Thelma was indicted on several counts of human trafficking, promoting human trafficking under the age of 18, and promoting human trafficking again, all felonies, as well as possession of drug paraphernalia and complicity on that charge. This goes back to a case that we first reported and followed, in which there was an undercover informant, said Paintsville police, that approached them saying that there was a human trafficking ring going on at the Pineview Trailer Court in Paintsville. And when police started to question that informant, they stated that they had spoken to Deborah Hamilton via Facebook or other messaging services, claiming that she was the boss of several young ladies who she was selling. The young ladies making $10 for their share, while Hamilton was charging anywhere from $75 an hour to $250 an hour for threesomes, or 12 hours for $300 with young girls. Authorities actually used that undercover informant and watched as he messaged with Hamilton via social media, setting up an appointment to which a young girl who was said to be 18 years of age but was actually much younger came out. She actually cooperated with police as well, confirming that she worked for Hamilton because she was afraid of her. That person said, or that young girl said, saying she had nowhere else to go. She also confirmed that she would get to keep $10 for the services that were paid for. There were also statements that indicated that there were several other females, some young, some a little bit older, and at least 2 males involved in the human trafficking ring. 43-year-old Jeremy Burchett of Paintsville was indicted for burglary in the 3rd degree and being a persistent felony offender in the 1st degree for having at least 2 prior felonies. He was actually named in 2 separate indictments returned by the Johnson County grand jury this week, in both charged with burglary in the 3rd degree for stealing, unlawfully entering and remaining in a storage building owned by CSX Transportation with the intent to commit a theft. 54-year-old James Music of Hager Hill, whose photograph was not available, but who also is known as Artie Music of Lower Twin Branch in Hager Hill, was indicted on a count of burglary in the 1st degree when he unlawfully entered a dwelling of a Whitensville resident with the intent to commit a crime while being armed with 2 .22 caliber revolvers. 33-year-old Samuel Ferkalow of Paintsville was indicted for assault in the 3rd degree, that of a correctional employee, and assault in the 4th degree, domestic violence, jailed on a domestic violence account. He was also said to have injured or attempted to cause injury to one of the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center employees or guards while being lodged in that facility. 62-year-old Jackie Pelfrey of Paintsville was indicted on DUI, 4th offense or greater in the past 10 years, criminal mischief in the 1st degree, driving on a DUI suspended license with aggravated circumstances, and being a persistent felony offender in the 2nd degree for at least 1 prior felony. He was charged with his at least 4th incident or occurrence of DUI, and also damaged a vehicle which he had control over belonging to another individual, causing at least $1,000 in damages. Deborah Stapleton, 53, of Paintsville, was indicted for trafficking, one of numerous trafficking indictments, trafficking in the 1st degree, methamphetamine over 2 grams, possession of marijuana, and possession of drug paraphernalia. She was in possession of at least 7 grams of methamphetamine, says authorities with the Johnson County Sheriff's Department, and over $4,600 in cash, all with the intent of trafficking and distributing methamphetamine. 31-year-old James K. Adams of Flat Gap, trafficking in a controlled substance, less than 2 grams of methamphetamine, possession of a controlled substance in the first degree, and possession of drug paraphernalia. On around September the 16th of this year, he was found to be in possession of meth as well as other drugs and or paraphernalia. A 37-year-old Paintsville man from Offutt was in A 37-year-old man from Offutt was indicted for being in possession of and trying to sell mushrooms and methamphetamine. Ron E. Charles was indicted on trafficking in a controlled substance in the first degree for having less than 10 dosage units of a Schedule I substance, namely mushrooms, with the intent to sell, and being in possession of methamphetamine, items of drug paraphernalia, and he was also said to have been responsible for hindering the apprehension of another individual named in the indictment as Rebecca Brown. Gary Ratliff, 34, of Hager Hill, was indicted for trafficking in a controlled substance, less than 2 grams of methamphetamine, possession in the first degree, tampering with physical evidence, and resisting arrest. This goes back to August the 16th when he was said to be in possession of methamphetamine, as well as destroying or altering evidence that was believed to be related to the case, and resisting the Paintsville Police Department as they tried to take him into custody. Also named in indictments, Strassup Music of Pikeville for possession of a controlled substance in the first degree and paraphernalia and no lights on a bicycle. Also, Nicholas T. Music indicted on possession of a controlled substance complicity, paraphernalia complicity, marijuana complicity, that being methamphetamine, the drug that Nicholas Music was said to be in possession of. Also for possession charges, possession in a controlled substance in the first, complicity, marijuana complicity, the same case as Mr. Music. Shauna M. Goebel of Boone's Camp also indicted alongside Nicholas Music for the same case. And also possession of methamphetamine and possession of drug paraphernalia charges per the indictment against Bobby Gilbert of Paintsville. A Sagersville woman was arrested for nearly striking several cars in a parking lot in area business this week, and then was charged additionally after several prescription pills fell out of her clothing during a search at the Big Sandy Jail. Christy Cottle was arrested in Sagersville after authorities, that being the Sagersville Police Department and Chief Matthew Watson, got a call of an impaired driver in the city of Sagersville at a local business where the caller noted that she almost struck several parked cars in the parking lot. Chief Watson got into the area a short time later and made a traffic stop. While Cottle was behind the wheel of a vehicle, she appeared to be under the influence, and she failed several or all field sobriety tests that were given to her. She also was charged at that time with reckless driving and driving under the influence. She, however, upon being booked into the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center, was noticed to have had a blue residue in her nose and claimed to not have any items on her person that would be legal to take into the detention center. However, several pills identified as Xanax fell out of her undergarments during a strip search, and she was also charged with promoting contraband in the first degree. Another brief community calendar, but we do have some other announcements to follow that I will relay to you in just a few moments. I do have this to relay prior to the calendar, that the Sagersville City Council has called their monthly meeting for this coming Monday at 6:30. Several items on the agenda. A resolution being adopted in lieu of the passing of Henry Joseph. They're going to appoint a water commissioner to fulfill the term of Henry Joseph. Also, a water board appointment as well to be made. Plans for the hometown Christmas celebration will be discussed. That hometown Christmas celebration, which is also on tonight's community calendar, brought to you by McGoffin Farm Bureau. And that reminder is that 3 weeks from tomorrow, we will be celebrating Christmas with the Sagersville Hometown Christmas Celebrate with Family event. We'll remind you periodically between now and then, but we also want to let you know that the judging for decorations for windows in businesses in downtown Sagersville and for residents as well will be the week prior, so giving you a heads up to get them out there and get them hung and get them on, and that way they can be judged. That Saturday, though, of course, Pictures with Elsa will start at 4, holiday refreshments at 5, the tree lighting ceremony at 5:30, the parade will start at 6. If you have any questions, call 794-6561. If you have any need for our community calendar, it's always here for you, always free, and that's for birthdays and anniversaries as well. going on, several funeral service announcements sadly to have to pass along to you. First, we'll begin with 77-year-old Janet Sue Holbrook of Sagersville, who passed away on October the 22nd. She was the daughter of the late Albert and Ressie Arnett Holbrook. A memorial service has been set for tomorrow at 1 o'clock at the Highlands Memorial Park in Staffordsville. The McGoffin County Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. 67-year-old Grant Dink Helton of Sagersville passed away the 13th. He is survived by his wife, Donna Faye Watson Helton, and daughters Amanda Jean Helton, Jamie Lynn Helton, and Alice Helton. Visitation is tonight and all day tomorrow. Services are to begin Sunday afternoon at 1 from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Burial will take place afterwards at the Helton Cemetery at Coon Creek. We also now have services which have been posted in honor of 43-year-old Patricia Ingram of Brushy Loop, who passed away this week. She's survived by her parents, Archie and Bonnie Mae Shepherd Ingram. Visitation has been set for after 2 o'clock tomorrow. Services to begin Sunday at 1 from the Church of the Living God. Burial will be at the Brushyville Cemetery at Gunlock. The McGoffin County Funeral Home is handling the arrangements for Miss Ingram. And we've also been told of the passing of 75-year-old Beverly Greer of Sagersville, who passed away earlier today. Funeral arrangements are being made at this hour and to be announced by the Sagersville Funeral Home.
I'm Bill Tinker. I've spent the past 19 years defending insurance companies in car crashes, truck crashes, and slip and falls. Are you involved in a case like that? Is the insurance company giving you the runaround about your medical bills, your benefits, or your lost wages? Contact me at McFarland Tinker Law Office. With our combined experience of over 58 years, we're here ready to work for you.
It can be one of the hardest parts of being a parent. You can beg them, bribe them, hold them down and try to force them, and sometimes you still can't get them to take their medicine. Well, problem solved at Parkway Pharmacy with Flavor X. Let your kids customize their medicine with some of the best flavors that really do taste great, and it's totally free with your child's prescription at Parkway Pharmacy. So stop the suffering, theirs and yours, for free, and get your Flavor X flavored medicines at Parkway Pharmacy in Sagersville.
So what are you watching at Thanksgiving? Welcome to my vlog. Be sure to leave a comment. Black Friday sales are going to be huge this year. And
adults and their phones.
it's going to be a low-carb meal.
All right. Hand them over.
Appalachian Wireless always wants you to get the most out of your phones, but we also encourage you to set them down and enjoy time with your loved ones. Happy Thanksgiving from your friends at Appalachian Wireless.
At Sagersville National Bank, they know your house is much more than your home. It's an investment, and for many of us, the biggest we'll ever make. And whether it's for needed repairs and maintenance, or a new addition or renovation to give you some more room and more equity, let Sagersville National Bank deal with all the financial work and worry. Real and real competitive, hometown, homegrown, home improvement loans at Sagersville National. Right now, for pennies on the dollar, a huge selection of like-new laptop computers, a fresh stock of video games, the Cadillac of dog tracking and training systems, new hunting rifles, accessories, and ammo. And they always stock, buy, sell, and pawn gold and silver coins and jewelry with a new selection just in at Parkway Gun and Pawn in Sagersville, 349 Pawn. I put this out there tonight for a couple of reasons, a warning, if you will, another major change in the traffic pattern on Restaurant Row. The last, it appears, major traffic change on Restaurant Row. Nearly all the I's dotted and T's crossed, with the exception of some speed limit signs, which might be needed based on just a brief observation earlier today. But what a difference indeed it has made after all lanes are now open. This being one of the hardest things so far I've had to get used to, having 3 lanes to choose from at the intersection of Parkway Drive and 114 in the Parkway. Of course, the far right lane will take you west. You can get in either other 2 lanes to go left and turn onto 114. The center lane, left or straight on across 114 and onto the access road and down towards the Sagersville Lee's Famous Recipe. Getting all the way over into that left lane has not come natural for myself and other drivers that I have noticed. Also not natural today is having no cones, no barrels to dictate which lanes you have to stay in. All 4 lanes of the Restaurant Row project are now open and available for travel, and it is going to take some getting used to. So we put this out there to make the announcement and also to keep everyone safe and remind you that indeed another traffic pattern change to be aware of. Also, while it appears as though 100% of the, or nearly 100% of the finishing touches have been put on to the Restaurant Row project, I couldn't see speed limit signs further on up. And a lot of folks, regardless of what the speed limit is going to be posted through here, I'm sure we're going over it, as it felt like just a big landing strip, needless to say. So watch your speed, watch other individuals' speed as they're traveling. I suspect we will see some speed tickets written here over the course of the foreseeable future. But also, I want to note that, just on a personal note, I actually passed the majority of the school buses on Parkway Drive. So when I got to this point, the majority of the school traffic was already through or coming through, but it appeared to make a dramatic difference in the flow of traffic, traffic moving quite well with 4 lanes now to do so. So keep that in mind. Restaurant Row is now open. Please watch for all traffic signs, lights, signals, and arrows marking where to turn. Another headline before we go to your Licking Valley RACC Outlook. Police investigating a fatal fire in Pike County earlier today. It was there where fire personnel discovered the body of a child in an early morning structure fire. That fire called into authorities around 4 o'clock this morning in the community of Stone. That caller also indicating that it may be a case of entrapment at the time the 911 call was made. There was an 11-year-old little girl's body who was discovered shortly thereafter the fire and flames were extinguished. The mother of the child was injured in the fire and taken to the Pikeville Medical Center, we believe, with serious, possible life-threatening injuries at the time. The name of the mother, the name of the little girl, no other information has been released. The Mullins School had posted earlier today on their social media that they had lost one of their students and were asking for everyone's thoughts and prayers. So we can only presume that that indeed was the student that they were referring to. That's it for headlines. Last and not least, with the outlook for your weekend, which is not too bad. Here's your forecast for tonight, for your Saturday and Sunday, and for Monday, which will be here before you know it. Yeah, all in all, a pretty nice weekend. Certainly Sunday the day to get out, as it'll be a few degrees milder. Down to the low 20s, though, for the next couple of nights. Tonight, 23, under mostly clear skies. A northern wind, 5 miles per hour or so. That should be becoming calm if it hasn't already, but soon. Tomorrow, we'll see the mid-40s, 46. The sunshine might make it feel a bit warmer when you get out in it. But for your Saturday, partly sunny during the morning and then complete full sunny skies during the afternoon. We should hit 46 with a northeasterly wind around 6 miles per hour. So it will feel a little warmer than that, I think, with the sun. And it will be warmer than that on your Sunday. After another night, tomorrow night in the low 20s, we'll hit 52 on your Sunday and stay just above the freezing mark on Sunday night with a low of 33. Sunday looks to be nothing but mostly sunny with some increasing clouds at Sunday night, but they shouldn't do anything to make any precipitation or change any Sunday plans. Should be a nice weekend, and like I said, Sunday being the nicer part of it. We'll barely hold on to the 50s, but we will at the start of your work week. Partly sunny and 50 on your Monday, and we'll go back down to the low 30s that night again at 34 degrees Monday night with increasing clouds. Now, those clouds that will increase will also hang on into your Tuesday, and with them bring about a 20% chance of some showers. The window right now, albeit a slight chance, does look to be around 9 in the morning to about 4 in the afternoon on your Tuesday. Under those mostly cloudy skies, will dip just below 50 to around 49. From there, Wednesday, 55, sunny and dry, 38 that night. Thursday and Friday, our next shower chances, pushing close to 60 on Thursday. A little warm air out ahead of that system, but mostly cloudy and a 40% chance of showers. Thursday, down to 50 with partly sunny skies and still a 40% chance of showers on your Friday. That's it. That's it for this Friday. Enjoy your weekend doing whatever it is you have or want to do. We'll see you back here Monday night. Thanks for watching as always.